everybody. Welcome to my ranking of the Fast and the Furious movies. Furious 7 came out a week ago, so I thought, what the hell? How about I rank all the Fast and the Furious movies from my least favorite to my favorite? Spoilers ahead. I don't like many Fast and the Furious movies. I find all the Fast and the Furious movies in general pretty dumb movies, but I thought, what the hell? Let's rank all the Fast and the Furious movies. Starting with my least favorite Fast and the Furious movie, which is my number 7. That's Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I think everyone should hate on this movie because this movie is terrible. The acting is terrible. The action sucks. The racing is a bore. And yeah, they got a new lead character instead of Brian O'Connor. We got some freaking hick played by Lucas Black, who's a god-awful actor. And yeah, it introduced us to Han, but I never found Han that interesting of a character. And yeah, fucking Bow Wow in a movie, and oh my god, they have like a Japanese mob in this thing, and it's just terrible. And yeah, I give it this. It tries to be different because the Too Fast, Too Furious try to be just like the first one. This one actually tried to be different, but it sucked. It was terrible. The acting, this movie was just so freaking terrible. And yeah, this movie actually, just because these movies are all weird, this is actually takes place after the 6th one. And yeah, this is the 3rd Fast and the Furious movie, but yeah, they just did it like that. But yeah, I can't stand this movie. I think this is the worst one. I don't like a single thing about this movie. Yeah, it's a little different, but yeah, I don't like it. The action's terrible. The drifting isn't cool or interesting. And yeah, I was so bored by this movie, and the acting is like the worst piece of acting I've ever seen in any Fast and the Furious movie. Yeah, Tokyo Drift, 7th Drift, least favorite Fast and the Furious movie. Skip that movie. I think fans, even of the franchise, they hate this movie, and they should, because this movie blows! Coming in number 6 is Fast and the Furious 4. This is actually just called Fast and the Furious, which is very confusing, because that's what the first one's called, but yeah, this is Fast and the Furious 4. This actually brings back the new cast, because Tokyo Drift did so terrible, and people didn't like it, so like, hey, let's bring back the new cast, and everyone's like, yes, these movies are gonna rock again. Well, not yet, because this movie sucks. This is absolutely garbage. Paul Walker is, I guess, somewhat decent. He's like the only one that's decent in most of these movies, but yeah, Vin Diesel's awful in this movie. The story's a lot like the first one, and they killed Michelle Rodriguez. Thank God, because she sucks. But yeah, this movie is just terrible. So much shaky cam, and some of the worst action ever. The car chase scenes were eh. Some of the racing scenes kind of made no sense. Like, why are they having a racing scene? And oh my god. And yeah, it was just terrible. They have some one-liners in it that aren't very good one-liners, that aren't memorable. They're not like 80s cheesy one-liners. Those are awesome. This movie was just terrible. The lines were terrible. The writing was terrible. The direction was terrible. And the acting was, of course, terrible. This movie itself is terrible. Terrible. Coming at number 5 is Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, we're still not at the ones that I like. Yeah, I hate this movie too. This movie brings in Roman Pierce, who's played by Tyrese Gibson. And yeah, Roman Pierce is a pretty comical character, but Tyrese is just such a shitty actor, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. Again, Paul Walker's the only one that's actually decent in this movie. Yeah, you got Cole Haysher playing the villain, and yeah, he's a terrible villain. He's a very corny villain. And yeah, it's a lot like the first one. This movie's just a lot like the first one. They said, you remember the first movie? Pretty much do that all over again. That's what Too Fast, Too Furious is. It's got lame action, lame car chasing scenes, like all of them fucking do. But yeah, this is just a god-awful movie. This is actually just like, this is like actually the most pointless Fast and the Furious movie. Other than the introduction to Roman Pierce, you actually don't need to watch this movie. The thing about this movie is relevant. This doesn't even matter. It's not even barely canon with the franchise, even though Brian and Roman are in it. Just, it makes no sense to have this movie. You could have easily brought Roman Pierce in just when Fast 5 came out, because this movie is just stupid. Yeah, it has a little bit of character development with Brian and Roman, but you don't care. You don't care about these characters because they're all one-note characters. Yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious is a piece of garbage. Tried to be like the first one, but it failed horribly. It sucks. Coming number 4 is The Fast and the Furious. This is the first one. Okay, this is the movie everyone seems to love. Everyone says, this is the best Fast and the Furious movie. Honestly, I don't get it. I don't get why people think this is the best Fast and the Furious movie. The story isn't even very original. It's basically Point Break, but with cars. And, like, I don't find anything that, like, all that compelling about this movie. Sure, some of it's a little fun, but the car chasing scenes aren't really good. They're pretty dated, actually. The characters aren't very interesting. Again, other than Paul Walker, Vin Diesel isn't as bad in this one as he is in some of the other ones, but I love his line, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I know it's kind of a corny line, but I actually kind of like that line, and Yeah, like Brian and Dominic have some decent chemistry, and actually they have more chemistry than him and Jordana Brewster. But yeah, they had too much Michelle Rodriguez. Like, yeah, I know I hate on Michelle Rodriguez, but she's a shitty actress, and I don't like any of his team. I don't like Vince or Leon or Jesse. Like, I find them very bland and very stereotyped characters. Like, Vince is the douchebag, Jesse's the nerd, Leon's the badass who doesn't say anything. Like, they're such cliched characters. Same with the Michelle Rodriguez, and I don't see the hype about this movie. Some things I enjoy, like the third act of this movie is probably the best part. The first two acts are just The third act is actually good. As soon as the scene when they try to rob the truck and then Vince is like hanging off with the wire off his arm and then they have to try to save him but they're all getting shot at and Brian comes and saves Vince. That scene, that entire scene is actually a pretty intense scene and I actually like that. It's actually a well filmed scene too. And even like the scene after that, like from there all the way to the end credits is actually decent. Like when they're fighting the Asians on the motorcycles and they shoot Jesse, I'm like, hey, they killed the character that I hate. Good job. But yeah, like they had to fight these Asians. One of them gets knocked off a cliff. One of them gets shot. Yeah, I like that. The third act of this movie is good. I actually have one little flaw about that scene though in the third act. The scene when Brian is in the orangish car. You can only push your NOS in this movie 2 times. That's why you have 2 buttons. But he pushes it 3 times. He pushes it when he tries to catch up to one of the Asian bikers. Then he pushes it a second time to catch up to Dom. Then he pushes it a third time to hop the train tracks with Dom. That I don't get. Like, you're only supposed to push it twice. How can you push it 3 times? But yeah, other than that, the third act of this movie's good. I kind of predicted. It did the Point Break thing. He gives his car keys away and then he drives off. It's almost the same in Point Break, but at least in Point Break he kills himself. But yeah, that doesn't happen. Can't help for that. But the first Fast and Furious it's harmless. It's Like, I don't care for the first 2 acts of this movie. Paul Walker's good. Some of the action, I guess, is okay, but it's kind of uninteresting and kind of a bland movie, an unoriginal movie. Third act gets much better. All in all, it's just okay to me. Some people love it. I just don't see why. Coming number 3 is Furious 7. Yeah, this is the new Fast and the Furious movie. I reviewed it just a week ago, and it's a dumb movie. This movie is pretty fucking stupid, but it knows it's stupid, and that's why I was entertained by it. Yeah, it should have had more Dwayne Johnson and more Kurt Russell, but it's a dumb movie. I don't need to talk about it. Just go watch my review of it. But yeah, it's a dumb movie, but it's actually it's a Fast and the Furious movie that I actually find entertaining. It's a dumb, fun movie. It's kind of like watching Commando. It's dumb, but fun. I kind of enjoy it. Actually, I really enjoy it. Furious 7! Coming number 2 is Fast and the Furious 6. Like Furious 7, this is just a really stupid movie that I actually find entertaining. Like, this is when the Fast and Furious movies actually knew what they are, and they're like, you know what, we're dumb action movies, let's just be dumb action movies. That's what they were. Justin Lin directed this movie, and he actually directed it pretty well. Like, there's no shake camera quick cuts like Furious 7 did. There's some good long takes, and the action was decent. It was very unrealistic action, but it was fun to watch. Paul Walker was great. Dwayne Johnson's killing it. And you got Roman Pierce saying his funny one-liners that weren't funny in Too Fast and Furious, but they're finally funny now. And yeah, I like Fast and Furious 6. Luke Evans is a decent villain. I hate that they brought back fucking Michelle Rodriguez, but it's still a decent film. Fast and Furious 6, just like Furious 7, it's dumb, but it's dumb fun. And my number 1 favorite Fast and the Furious movie is Fast 5. This is the majority of people's favorites, and for good reason, because this is actually the only Fast and Furious movie I can actually say is actually a genuinely good movie. It's actually good. The story is actually good. Vin Diesel actually gives a subpar performance. Paul Walker is great. Jordana Brewster is actually somewhat decent. And Roman Pierce is funny in this movie, and the villain's actually decent. The editing's not bad. It's a little cheesy at times, like the typical Fast and Furious movies, but they finally don't focus on like the racing and actually bring a good crime story. And yeah, I liked this movie. Fast 5 is a very good movie. And yeah, actually good story, good action, and actually decent performances. And actually, I'm like, when I saw this movie, when it first came out, and I was a little, like, I actually did not want to see this movie, because I saw Fast and Furious 4 just a little bit ago, and I'm like, I don't want to see another fucking Fast and the Furious movie. But I actually went, I saw it, and I was so shocked. I'm like, oh my god, this is actually a good Fast and the Furious movie. And it brought in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He makes these movies. That's why the Furious 7 should have had more of him. He stole this entire movie. He was fantastic. And yeah, we actually got to see Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson kick the living shit out of each other. So yeah, that was awesome. And the scene with the two cars and they're dragging the safe at the end, that was pretty awesome. Again, unrealistic, but it was awesome. And yeah, I love Fast 5. It's the best of the franchise. It's actually the only Fast and Furious movie I can actually say is a good movie. Fast 5, love it. So yeah, that was my ranking of the Fast and the Furious movies, my least favorite to my favorites. So please, comment below, give me your least favorite to your favorite Fast and the Furious movies. Comment below, let me know, I'm curious to know. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the Ducks.